and let's go. Let's do this. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you're all doing great today. Hump day, hopefully it'll go by quickly. So will the rest of the week for those of you who are working hard. So anyways, my friends, let's start off like we always do. Let's go over to the computer. Let's check out real quickly what we did yesterday, and then we'll tackle our day from there. So, what did we do yesterday? Well, yesterday we started off by adding a little bit of these vines to our background. We wanted to do that and get that done before we added what we are going to do today, which is what I call electromagnetic waves to our background. We added a little bit of shadowing to our purple background as well. And right now we are going to start off first of all, by doing some pencil work with a compass to make my electromagnetic waves, which are nothing more than like a circles, like as though you threw a stone in a pond and you see the ripples going out. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to pencil that out first, and then we'll go over that with some gold paint. So let's not waste any time because all this takes a little bit of time. There we go. So I'm going to start off like I always do on this upper left-hand side. First of all, before I keep rushing and going, let me just bring over camera number 1 over here. Zoom that in a little bit like that. And I'll switch over to camera number 1. And I'm going to get right to work right away. I'm not going to waste any time. There we go. Oops. So we're going to start with the inner circle and then just work our way to the outer circle. We want to give an effect as though all this was just random, but obviously it's not. We want this to have some sort of a balance. We're going to do that like that. What we're going to do, put one right over here as well. One up here. We will add some more as we go along once we start having the pattern totally filled in. A lot of areas like down here on this lower right-hand side, let me pull this back and get the whole group. Right here, there'll be more plants. So it's really not all that important. Most of it will be hidden, but I'm still going to go and do it. Just like that. Where are we here? So, I guess right in here we'll do another one. I have one here, then I'll put one in here as well. Just like that. Another one right in down here as well. One down here. And one down here as well. And we're going to start off like that. Okay, just made this a little bit bigger. I usually do four layers, 4 rings. So this is the second one. Whoops, there we go. course, this is just the background to our background. When it's all done, it looks kind of nice. At least theoretically it should. Kind of fun working on a canvas that's stretched on the frame. Usually I work, my canvases are stapled to the wall, and then when they're finished, that's when I frame them. So where am I here? Okay, down here. I'm probably going to have to add something over here, but we'll do that at the end when we have all the patterns done. Okay, so that's the second of our rings. Did I get it up here as well? Yes, I did. I can't see with the reflection of the light above me. So let's go to our third ring. There we go. So maybe I'll bring over this. I keep forgetting that we're doing Instagram as well. I'm so used to working with my YouTube cameras that I forget about the Instagram camera. So I'm playing around basically with 3 HD cameras and my telephone. So, and the Instagram live feed is kind of a new thing that I've added. So I'm not quite used to it. Keep forgetting about all this stuff. Concentrating on the painting and forgetting about the cameras, which is not a good thing, but I'm doing my best. Up, let's keep doing these. Then we'll have just one more ring to go, and then we'll be switching over and going over these rings with some gold paint. There we go. So we got the third ring down. Oh, except here. And now let's do the fourth ring. And the fourth ring is kind of my favorite ring because that is the ring which often crosses over other rings. And I just love that kind of crisscross because that's the effect I'm looking for. I'm looking for the effect of like when you throw a stone in a pond, you have the ripples all going from the center and working them way out. I like to call it electromagnetic waves because I'm into astronomy. I love that kind of stuff. Okay. Nice to have the fan in my back. It's nice and toasty today. And it looks like I forgot the third ring on that one right here, so maybe I'll do that right now. Oh no, here it is, okay. I didn't see it. I'm having a hard time seeing these rings. I have the glare of the light bulb that's above my head, which makes it a little difficult in some places to see these rings. But I'm sure we'll get through it. So I'm not double checking anything. I hope everything's okay with the cameras. I'm just trying to hurry up and get through this phase, because my favorite thing is to paint, and that's what I want to get to. There we go. There we go. We're over here, I guess. Down here, I didn't do this part here. I really don't have to worry too much since there's going to be more plants in here. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on top of all these rings anyways, so I really don't have to worry about anything. So did I miss any places? Probably, but it doesn't really matter because I'll be able to, when I'm all done, I'll be able to see exactly. Like, for example, here I forgot. Whatever I forget, I can always catch up later, right? So, okay, that looks pretty good. I think we can start off with that. I'll switch back to camera number 2 over here. And I guess maybe I'll even bring our Instagram camera over here as we prepare our gold paint. So let's just grab a palette here. This one looks pretty good. So here I have a palette full of cerulean blue paint, which is dry. All I have to do is just grab one little edge and kind of pull this stuff off, because the binder of these pigments is a polymer emulsion. So when you pull this stuff off, well, you can see that acrylic paints is nothing more than just plastic. Pretty amazing stuff. And since this is a non-porous surface, it doesn't stick to it. I mean, acrylic paint works great on wood, on canvas, on materials, but not on glass or anything that's non-porous, like metals. So very easy to get a nice clean palette with this kind of stuff. So where am I looking for? I'm looking for my gold. Now I have several golds, but this is the one I like the most, the iridescent gold, which is nice and yellowish, because you have some other golds. I have another gold here, which is kind of red. Well, in real life, you have 3 kinds of gold anyways, right? You have yellow gold, white gold, and red gold. So, ouf, tu m'as fait peur. Gold, gold.
Cranberry vodka is nice, very nice, and long time.
À tout à l'heure, German. Oui, tu parles. So that was my friend Jalil, who has a studio upstairs where he fixes and makes and builds, repairs instruments, mostly African instruments like djembes, balafons, koras. Of course, he's a musician too, right? But he also fixes guitars, violins, a wide variety of instruments. I'm very lucky. I'm in a building here of 5 flights of stairs in the old part of Nice in France. And we're like 3 minutes from the beach. And we have this entire building, which is all studios. The first floor, or should I say the second floor, is basically gallery spaces. We have a large gallery and a smaller gallery that we open to artists on the outside so they can come and have art shows without going through all the hassles that gallery owners give young artists. And then we have 5 flights of stairs, flights of studios above that, where we have 7 or 8 artists, with everybody doing a different style of work, from jewelry to sculpture to painting to ceramics. So a lot of different stuff going on in this building. So this paint looks pretty good, looks pretty fluid. I don't want to put too much water because I want it to stay nice and opaque. I don't want the gold to be too thin. So I have my little brush that I usually use to do my electromagnetic waves. I am going to get the cameras now ready, so I'm going to bring this baby all the way back over here, because I'm going to start on this upper left-hand side because I'm right-handed, and to avoid putting my hand in the paint, I always work my way down this way. Which doesn't mean I don't screw up and put paint all over the place. It happens quite often, actually, but if I can reduce it to a minimum, it's the best. So camera number 1 is all set. I hope my Instagram friends can see as well. So I'll just move this a little bit to the side. And I think if I do this kind of a thing, I can actually zoom in a little bit. Now, I don't know if this becomes real pixelated or not. I hope not. I'm not like that familiar with this camera, my phone, and Instagram, but hopefully it's going to work out. And I'll just switch over to camera number 1, and then let's start these. Might have to add a little more water. Maybe I didn't. So I am going to have to get in front of the lenses because I really can't see really what I did here. So right here. Yep, I can't really see. I think something like that. And then these guys here I can see. There we go. I'm just going to be jumping back and forth just to work my way down. I'm not going to do ring, but it's just going to be. Where is that guy? There he is. So, is everything going okay? I do have to think about the cameras. Not get sucked into the painting too much. Gotta stay alert. So here also I can barely see what I did with the pencil, but it doesn't matter. There we go. And I don't see that middle. Oh yes, here it is. There we go. And down here, it's a lot easier because I can see much better my rings. So there is no need for me to get close to these leaves because there are going to be details on the leaves as well. So I must say, one of the advantages of the camera from the Instagram and my phone is that it has a lot wider range. I don't have to zoom in and zoom out as much as with my HD cameras. And again, all this is background stuff. Because on top of these rings, I'm going to be painting, as a background, little planets as well. Or at least I call them planets. They look like bubbles, maybe? I don't know. There we go. So where are we here with these cameras? I'm attacking this area over here, so I'll bring this up a little bit. And maybe I'll bring this guy over a little bit like this as well. Something like that. And I'm going to turn around and check out my computer. So, okay, so we're uploading at 4,700 kilobytes per second at 35 frames per second. And there are no drop frames, so everything is going well. And that's good. So let's continue our ring-dings. Okay, hold on a second here. So when I did the shadowing to this purple, I mentioned like it will be discrete, and as we add our painting, we will see it less and less. And sure enough, now you don't really pay attention to that shadowing anymore because of these rings. And then again, it works the same way. You will see these rings when the rest of the painting gets done because there's so much other stuff going to be in the forefront. Right now they stick out quite a bit, but so how am I doing here? I do have to worry about these cameras. There we go. Maybe I'll even bring this camera way closer and do a major zoom in here so when I edit my movie afterwards, I will have more materials to play with. Because I always do a little recap at the end of my stream for the next day to show what we did the day before. And then at the end of my painting, I'd make a little short movie of a recap of the entire process of the painting. And I've been doing that for like years and years and years. So I can't see my ring over here. go. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of water to my gold paint here on my palette because with this heat, it's drying up very quickly, getting nice thick, maybe even a little too thick. So a little drop of water doesn't hurt. There we go. Okay, so let me get back down to this left-hand side, lower left-hand side, staying with my philosophy of working from left to right to avoid putting my hand in the paint. So let me move this baby back as well. Just like that. Okay. Now I am going to grab a bar stool that I have here just to be comfortable. Come on, baby. With all these tripods and wires, I am kind of squeezed in this area. But I often say you have to take pleasure in painting, you have to reunite three things. You basically have to have your paint to be the right consistency, the right texture. You need to have the right size paintbrush, and you need to be comfortable. If you can reunite all three of those things, well, painting is a real pleasure. Plus, I've noticed often or not often, but I used to sometimes get lazy and would get into an awkward position to paint rather than switch positions or grab a chair or whatever, get on my knees. And I would always end up screwing up somehow. So I've learned that being lazy is not really always that good. Not a good solution. So now that I've matured, I've learned to be less lazy and screw up less, of course. Okay, so we got that area done. Let's move on up here. Zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Yep, this is that part of painting that that could be rather boring, I guess. This is the part of painting that if I wasn't doing my stream, I would probably put some music on and get into a meditative mood and just drift, let my brain drift off as I'm doing this. So. And these rings, okay, I'll be able to continue tomorrow, but if I'm going to do these little planets that I'm going to add on this, well, believe it or not, that's going to take several days. It's just to do the simple thing because I will have to put several coats on. So it's very repetitious, but you have no choice. Sometimes you have to put 2 coats on because you can see the brush strokes, and other times you have to put 2 coats because the paint isn't opaque enough. You can see right through, which will be the case of tomorrow, what I'll be doing tomorrow. Okay, I see I'm going to have to add something here, but we'll do that afterwards. I have to move a little bit over to the right hand side, which is what I'm going to do right now. So let's bring this over first. And then let's bring this camera next. And I'm going to pull the zoom back a little bit more. We're going to start right in here. I can't really tell. There we go. I have to offside my cameras so I'm not in front of the lens, which is something, believe it or not, I don't like doing. I'm not even, there we go. Again, this area here, I'm not worried too much because there's going to be so much stuff on top of all this. But still, you can see a little glimpse of the background through the leaves. It will look nice. That's why I'm doing it. Then, of course, if you have the light that hits it just the right way, well, all these little gold rings just kind of light up. And it looks really nice. I mean, even if you're not paying attention to the actual background. So we're getting to the last ring right here, but I see I'm going to have to add some. Oh, there's a ring right here I blew. No wonder why it looks empty. Okay, let's get to this guy right now. And it's the 2 outer rings that I missed. Okay, I'll redo those in a second. I'll just finish this one here. All right, got that done. And We said we needed 2 more rings right over here. I'm going to use my compass. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Galileo who invented the compass, believe it or not. You might have thought it was the Egyptians or something, but what I saw, I think once a few years ago, it turned out to be Galileo. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I looked it up once. He did a lot of prison time, Galileo, ostracized for saying that the planets were turning around the sun. Yes, he had the same Supreme Court that we have now. Okay. And I think right here I'm going to need 1 or 2 of these larger guys. So we're just going to cheat and add maybe just a little bit right. It doesn't matter, I guess. Maybe a little bit right here and a larger one right here. How about that? And for that, I'm going to move this away. And so where are we? We're right here. I can't really tell where I am with these cameras. That's why I have to kind of put my finger down. There we go. And I did put my hand in the gold paint, but I felt the wetness, so I didn't screw up. Something like that. So let me just step back for a second. Take a look, see what that looks like. So that doesn't look too bad. A little empty here, but like I said, I'm not worried about it because I'm going to fill all that in later with some plants when we move towards the foreground. So let me, once again, get these cameras out of the way. As I decide what I'm going to do next, I think I'm going to work on these vines. Just add a little bit of shadowing to that. So I am going to come over here and get my paint ready. So let's pull this baby back. Oops, no, it's the other way I want to go. Just like that. And I got my burnt umber right here, which we used yesterday. And again, grab a little palette. There's a nice clean palette right here. A little bit of burnt umber. Not going to need too much. I think I'm going to use this paintbrush. I might as well soak that in right away. I'm going to be adding a little bit of white paint to my burnt umber, just to make it a little bit lighter. Again, I'm not going to worry too much about the shadowing because it is just background stuff as well. So let's just put like a little peanut's worth right there. Let's clean off my knife. Okay. So God, I washed my hair today and it's all over the place. Jesus. Okay. So let's work in then the burnt umber and the white paint. So I'm just going to bring that in and mix this and add some water to it. I want it to be dark, but not too dark. And obviously I want it darker than the beige that I have on my vines, so. And then I'm going to call it quits for the day because I'm going to need all these electromagnetic waves to be totally dry before I do the next step. Unless with the fan, it's already dry. We'll see in a few minutes. Let me work with it. Just stay concentrated on this first, though. I could put the first coat of white paint for the background of my planets. I could do that today. That would be great. So this looks just right. I'm going to get rid of the excess paint on my brush. Like usual, set up the cameras first. So let's bring this baby over here. As I'm going to tackle these guys right up here. So I'm going to move this guy again a little bit off to the side because I don't want to be in front of it. There we go. Pull it back a little bit. And then do the same with this guy here. Pull him back a little bit. There we go. Okay. So let's just add a little bit of shadowing to our vines. Again, this is just the first coat of the shadowing. All this will be worked up even more. And I guess I'll just start right here as well. All right. Okay, that's for the first part. And I'm going to move over to all this area right here. Let's bring this other camera closer. Cameras, cameras. Jesus. Need a cameraman is what I need. Okay, let's start with that then. And again, because I'm right-handed, don't want to put my hand in the wet paint, I'm going to work my way down from left to right. Again, this is just, of course, the first layer of the background. I will go in with a lot more details afterwards, just to make it richer. And of course, I don't want to make it realistic. I mean, nothing I do is realistic. I'm not into that at all. I'm into just, if I wanted realism, I would be a photographer. In our day and age, there's no reason to make anything too realistic. Like that. Okay, I'll switch back up here because my camera, I don't want to move it every 30 seconds. So let's go back up here. So vine in front or vine behind? Let's go behind. Yes, like that. I will come back with some darker shades of burnt umber on my dark side and some lighter on the lighter side, just to play around with colors and lights and stuff like that. I have no idea how these cameras are working. I guess they're okay. Okay, very good. Let's go back down here now and avoid putting my hand in the paint. Oops, no reason for me to go that close. What the hell? And down here. Oops, let me bring this camera over here. There we go. Where was I? Oh yeah, I was right here. There, it's kind of, doesn't matter all this right in here because all this is going to be covered up. And I'm just doing a little bit here just in case you can see a little bit through the leaves. It'll always look a little bit nicer. There's a little hint. But honestly, there we go. Oh yes, I can do this left-hand side. Let's see if I can do this without putting my hand in the paint here. I wouldn't bet on it, but a lot of this is going to be covered up. I don't know by what, but it will be covered up with colors. Okay, so let's take a step back and see what we've done so far. I guess I can pull camera number 1 back as well. Offset these cameras a little bit, even though I'll move them again in a few seconds. There we go, move that back. So let's take a look and see where we're at. So are these electromagnetic waves dry yet? The wonders of summer. All winter I would have had to quit right now and come back tomorrow. But since this is dry, I can go ahead and at least put the white background to my planets or bubbles or whatever you want to call it. And that is a major step forward for tomorrow. So I am going to come over here, back to camera number 2, right here. Got my little keyboard with the shortcuts for my 3 HD cameras that I use for YouTube. Oops, Jesus. All right, drop everything. So what am I doing? Oh, this is simple. All I need is white paint, and I can actually use the cap to my jar of white as a palette. So that's pretty easy. Let me just grab some white paint. I'm not going to need too much of that. No matter how thick I put that. Oh, Claudine, comment vas-tu?
Bien.
Ça va?
Je suis arrivée tout à l'heure, tu étais juste avant que tu commences, tu faisais le countdown, alors j'ai dit pas le moment.
Ouais, d'accord.
Très mauvais pour la concentration, le truc.
C'est clair. Ça va, toi?
Écoute, ça va.
D'accord.
Un petit peu, toujours en train de trotter, mais bon.
Tu te prépares pour...
Moi, c'est ma saison, hein, l'été.
La cataracte, tu te prépares pour ça?
Ça, j'en sais rien du tout.
Pas de nouvelles?
Bah si, la nouvelle, c'est que j'ai rendez-vous le 12 juillet.
Ah, 12 juillet.
La visite, que la visite de l'ophtalmologue. Hein.
Oui. Celle à 800 €. Putain.
Et eux, et après, il va me refaire toute la batterie de tests, je suppose.
Ouais.
Et c'est à ce moment-là qu'ils me diront à l'hôpital quand mon père est donc. Et là, je commence à en avoir ras-le-bol parce que je suis vraiment.
Ça te travaille, ça se voit vraiment, ça te gêne vraiment. Tu vas venir au truc du battleur demain?
Ouais,
ah, très bien.
Par contre, je viens tôt.
Oui, moi aussi j'y vais.
Je regarde à l'intérieur avant qu'il y ait des gens à l'intérieur.
C'est ce que François va faire et moi je vais aller tôt aussi.
Et puis après, je reste un petit peu à l'extérieur et après, je remonte à la maison pas trop tard.
Ça marche, oui.
On se voit là-bas?
On se voit là-bas alors.
Impeccable.
Ça marche. Ciao Claudine.
Ciao.
Okay. So that was my friend Claudine, who has a studio upstairs as well, who does jewelry and stuff like that. So let me get back to what I was doing. And I got the white paint here. Now I need to get it to be the right consistency. And for that, I'm going to use a fat brush that I won't be using to do my planets, but just to get the water onto the palette and to quickly get this to be the right, get the hair out of there, get the right consistency of this paint, which is like a nice creamy texture, not too thin, of course, though there will be probably 2 coats on top of this, so there's not much I can do about that. But still, if I can get it nice and thick, the reason I'm putting the white instead of 2 coats of, I think I'm going to go with orange on top of this. But the reason I'm going with the white paint first is because I want the orange to be nice and electric. I like it to stick out, to be vibrant. You know, I like my colors to be really, well, I'm part of that psychedelic era, you know, of the, well, whatever. Let's not go back into that conversation. We all know that drugs are no good for you. Wink, wink. Okay, so let me just play with this for a few seconds. Maybe one more shot of water. There we go. And that should do it. Now the thing is to find the right paintbrush, because I don't want these to be too big either. I want these bubbles to be when I say I'm going to do these orange, but I'll make that final decision tomorrow when I walk into the studio. Because that's usually when I make my decisions of what I'm going to paint. It's like 20 minutes before I start painting. So, okay, so let's get the right paintbrush here. Which one do I want? I want a soft paintbrush, but I want one that's not too long. I need to have total control over, and this looks like the perfect candidate. I need to have total control of my gesture, and if I have the right paint, texture, consistency, the right brush, these little planets should go very quickly and very enjoyable to do. So hopefully this is the right one I need. While that baby's soaking, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna start like usual in the upper left-hand corner. So let's get the cameras together here. A little zoom in on that upper. This should go rather quickly as well. I'm going to be putting these little planets as though they were just, anywheres. But of course, they have to be, they have to give the appearance of just, being randomly put. But of course, they have to be in a balance somehow, harmonious balance. So, again, I'm going to move this guy over a little bit because I'm going to have to stand in front of the lens, which is something I don't like doing, but anyways. So let's get the first one right in here. Okay, I got a little too much water on my brush. Let's dry that off, okay. Now, I don't have to be too picky because there are going to be 2 more coats, plus the detail on top of the shadowing of these bubbles. So there's still like 3 coats on top of that to make up for whatever, for any screw ups. So don't have to worry too much. This brush is not quite working out the way I wish it would, but we'll see. I'm going to try a little more. Yeah, this sucker is not doing what I want it to do. Well, this goes back to what I was saying earlier, not be too lazy. So I'm going to go back here and check out my brushes and see if I can't find another one where I have a little more control over. And at first sight, this looked like it was the right one, but maybe I'll have better luck with this one. Oh, this one looks like it's even worse. Okay, I'm not even going to try it. I can tell that it's going to give me a hard time. So screw it. We'll just go back to the one we had first and just be patient and careful. Okay, I'll bring this down since we're going to just stay on this left-hand side for the time being. Let's make a really big fat one right in here. Nice big fat planet, which we can cover half of it off with a leaf later on. There we go. Right. Okay. All right, so where are we with these cameras? Boom, so we're gonna go over to this side. I'll bring this baby over. Maybe for this one, I'll do a major zoom just to give me some material for my, for editing my movie afterwards. I'll bring this baby like this. Perfect. Perfect for the movie. Now I can zoom out again and just go to town on the rest of these bubbles. Let's bring this baby over here, just like that. This is the brown here is already dry. So I looked out there because I had my hand right in it. Totally forgot about it. The power of the fan. And here too, there are going to be a lot of leaves, so maybe I'll just make another nice fat one right in here, which will probably be half of it hidden from some leaves or something on top of it, so that will look good anyways. Like that. Maybe one that goes over and spills onto the back side here. Up. One down here. Well. I don't know if I'm going to see this one here. All this area is kind of iffy. So. Here, I don't need to do anything here, as I mentioned earlier. So, let's pull back and see what we have here. Let's pull back this camera as well. So, there's the result of today's work. All right, so that concludes, I guess, today's session of painting. I want to thank those of you who are on Instagram for joining me. I hope you'll join me on Friday. Tomorrow, I'm not going to be in the studio. I'm going to continue this guy on Friday. I hope you'll join me then. I'll put a reminder on Instagram about half an hour before I go on my stream. My YouTube stream is every day at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. if you're living in Paris, 7:30 in the evening if you're living in Mumbai, whatever. So anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. I hope I'll see you on Friday. If you want to see the stream on YouTube, all you have to do is type in TheZenRebel and you can go there and watch a different version of this painting session. Anyways, thanks very much for joining me. Ciao, mes amis. There we go. Once I figure out how to shut this off, there we go. Up. Okay, so taking care of that. Now for you, my friends, I want to thank you also for joining me. I hope I'll see you on Friday. As you heard, I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll be here Friday. I hope you'll join me, as we'll probably add some colors to these little planets, and then we'll see what else we can do. Now that it's so hot and the fan is working, drying things off, we don't have to stop like we did all winter long. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy. The longer, the better. So anyways, I'm going to leave you like usual with two things, my schedule and by saying, ciao mes amis.